We had a full flight mission to take 60 infantry fellows to an LZ with a tree line on one side and an empty field on the other. We fired our machine guns on approach and during the landing. The tree line was to the left of the landing on my side, right in front of me. I don't think we took any fire from anywhere. After the infantry jumped out, we lifted off and flew over the tree line on a left bank. I was on lead helicopter. Right below me were about 10 obviously VC running for their lives across a muddy field to another tree line. They were unarmed and had their backs turned to me. I started to shoot behind them to keep them scurrying on their way. I could not shoot them. It was against all my moral upbringing. Facing people shooting at me is one thing, but shooting unarmed kids in the back was pure murder to me. We were all kids on both sides. They were only about 50 yards out of the tree line. We landed the infantry troopers near and had about 150 yards of an open muddy field to go. Once I flew over them, I stopped shooting. There were 9 helicopters behind mine. Some crew chief in another helicopter shot them all in the back, killing them all. I could hear over the flight communications what happened. To me, that was cold-hearted murder, but I knew out of 10 crew chiefs that probably 2 or 3 of them could be capable of just plain murder. We had a few more missions that day, and when we were finished for the day and landed back in base camp, there was a small crowd at my helicopter, all members of my company's combat air crews discussing the pros and cons of what I did not do. Most all of them said that I did the right thing and that possibly we could have captured them, although that would have been dangerous. Others said they should have stopped running and put up their hands in surrender. Others suggested that if they did that, the infantry fellows would have shot them dead, or one of our guys might. The VC were very scared and figured if they surrendered, they would be shot dead, so why not at least try for the next tree line? And that is apparently what they decided. Another fellow suggested that they may have been deserters from the VC or from the NVA ranks, and all the more important to capture them for information. Some said if they had weapons in the other tree line that they would be back in combat and be trouble for the infantry. I agreed that was possible, but then that would be the infantry's problem. No one in our flight took any bullets, and that could indicate that no enemy forces were around, but not necessarily. Why did they not have weapons with them? Most figured that they could run a lot faster without them. In the end, of 40 guys in the slicks, combat air crews, about 30, said that I did the right thing in their minds, that they could not kill them either. To me, that left about 10 cold-blooded killers in our ranks. Disgusting. This is war, they said, and they were not prisoners. I never thought that anyone was capable of shooting unarmed people in the back, whether they were NVA VC or not. It's just plain murder to me, and I feel sorry for the murdering idiot that killed them. He later will be haunted by this criminal act, I figured. I found out who it was. He was not in our discussion group. He was not the smartest guy, and those to me are the ones that could commit murder. To have compassion takes intelligence. I was called into the company commander's hooch and was asked why I didn't shoot the unarmed guys running. I told him to me it would be murder. He told me that I was not fit for combat. I told him I was flying combat for 6 months and he was a new company commander, and that in my eyes he was the one not fit for combat if he could shoot in the back unarmed men running away from a battle. Dismissed was his order. Nothing more came of it, probably because I was not disobeying a direct order, but we just had a difference of opinion of what constituted murder. What's the major gonna do, have me arrested or give me a bad write-up because we disagreed? We did know now who the murderers in our company would be. There should be some form of gallantry and not just valor in combat, most of us figured. Direct combat will always test the humanity and compassion in anyone. The good or the bad are not defined by who is fighting who. There are good guys and bad guys intermixed on both sides. I could tell a good guy on our side from a bad guy simply by the language one used to describe the Vietnamese people. The bigots were the bad guys. They pointed themselves out to the others by using the words gooks, dinks, slopes, slants, and other such derogatory names when describing the Vietnamese civilians or soldiers. Bigots never learn. Compassion takes intelligence. Tiny brains are the bigots' problem, and they make problems for everyone else.